Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today's video I thought was notable because how it started versus how it ended up going are two very different things. So you can see I am taking Baltic Motorized and I've become a bit of a fan of the PT-76B's 15-point recon tanks. They're not amazing, but honestly it's I think a niche that Baltic Motorized really does benefit from having in there. We also have a bunch of Terramusty vehicles, some ATGMs in XA180s, and a whole mishmash of other sort of motorized nonsense. But a Smirch is going to be starting us off, and unfortunately it is just a little bit late, so not really too much going on there. And I mean, the dispersion here sort of really was unfortunate because there's a double stack of Challenger 2s and a Stormer HVM that were all nearly escaped death. So not really ideal, and we see two Bisons on this side, and I've go ahead and taken my ATGM vehicle, the 60-point. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And we do get a little bit of fire on the way, and importantly, this slows down my opponent's Highlanders 90 from getting into this town, and really, if they got into there faster, they can move over here and now get fire on the KTs and Terramusties, and of course they do have an Eric's, which is a long-range weapon and very effective at that. So, a couple of helicopters are on this side, and a Super Puma with some Iroquois, and I didn't quite get him moving fast enough, but there are also a double squad of KWSs from Wujing 80, who is a private. Our other opponent is Sierra 37, who is a second lieutenant. And, well, they're going after my helicopters. I don't really have much I can do about it, but in the main ground, now we're getting a fair amount done. So the Highlanders 90 get into this town block, but Jalos, BTR-80As, everything like that is taking a bunch of fire in at them. Of course, Challenger 2s take out my Terramusties, no real contest, and my KTs on the side have unfortunately been killed. So we had a good initial engagement here, and we're having a good initial engagement. It's just, it's really tenuous. I have a Spike team, well, I guess, yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce the Finnish names, honestly. PSTOHJ, I suppose. And now I've lost all of my helicopters on the left-hand side, including the one carrying Iroquois to a bunch of angry air superiority fighters that I didn't have anything to really counter. So, not really ideal there. My Spike teams are getting some shots on, but the Challenger 2s are still alive. And, I mean, my own tanks here can't really, well, we can't fight them. The Challenger 2s are way heavier than the Pion, and that's just how it is. My allies' single T-72BU also can't take that double squad of some of the heaviest tanks in the entire game. And then over on the right-hand side, there was just a little bit of a brief hold. Spetsnaz Gru, BRDM-3s, standard stuff. Spike teams shooting in, and I was kind of happy about this, but it turns out they were shooting at Leopard 2A1s and can't even really land a whole lot of damage there. So, my apologies if you guys can hear the sirens in the background. I promise, as usual, they are not coming for me. And I just decided, you know what? We've been able to fend them out of the town just a bit. I'm going to get some more infantry on this side. I want a complete cap on Anna. I want to be able to move through the trees on this side and, well, eliminate a staging ground that's often used. And here's the thing. A lot of Leopard 2A1s, these guys are relatively meaty at 100 points. Challenger 2s as well. There's a lot of points in tanks in the center ground. So I thought to myself, you know what? We might just be able to push infantry on this side forward, prevent them from getting anywhere near Anna, and then collapse over from the left onto Dimitri with ATGMs, with every sort of tool that we need. Unfortunately, my Spike vehicle, well, I guess it's a TOW2 vehicle, is taking fire. He's used a fair amount of ammunition, but yeah, down for the count. So I was trying to get him out of there, it didn't quite work, and now my T-55M Pion is under fire and taken out by the Challenger 2. So you can see, this is, I mean, one of the things people will talk about with Moto is, oh, they're so fast, oh, they have excellent openers and all that. Well, that's true, up to a point. And particularly on this map, when you have to fight over the center zone, over Dimitri here in the middle, lacking heavy tanks, lacking super heavy tanks can really be a problem. So, T-72BU gets a nice kill, but that sets up his second shot to be a little bit late, and the Challenger 2 gets the first shot away. 6 points of damage in on the BU, and we're retreating into the smoke as another T-72BU comes up, trying to challenge those, well, Challenger 2 tanks. And at this point, Wujing is moving over a bunch of AMX Prees and all of those Leopard 2A1s, plus there's another push from Commandos 90 and the M13A1s from Sierra 37. At this point, we're taking the brunt of 2 players' reinforcements. So my Kart and Yakri all the way through here are doing okay, but AMX Prees, I mean, that 3 frontal armor will slow down the rate at which I can kill them, and Notre are, well, chunky. There's a lot of shooting that needs to be done. It's going to be a slow engagement, and if I get stunned, it could end up being a bad engagement indeed. So, ITO 90 does get a lucky kill there, and we save our allies' tanks, although I think they were already not visible because of the smoke, but still, nice kill there off the ITO 90, single missile to the face. but this is going to be a problem. I mean, 300 points for the tanks just sitting there waiting to pound anything that pokes its head out of the woods, including my Reskas and Kurima. My spike team is out of ammunition, and my resupply vehicles. This is really annoying. So I noticed just then, you can see they were reinforcing along the main highway, and then I say, no, get out of dodge, move to the left, get over to that spike team, right flipping now, please. And in the meantime, I mean, this could be worse, right? So we killed the Natra, we killed their AMX Prees, there's Stuttruppen now with more AMX Prees, but we got one of them down, and the Kartanyekri versus Stuttruppen should be a reasonably good fight. I mean, the issue is we're just outnumbered, so we're going to get good kills until we don't, and unfortunately, it's just, Stuttruppen are very good. They're very good for a reason, and they're also a little bit cheaper than Kartanyekri, plus it's easier for them to reinforce up there than it is for me. So I've now lost my secure position in Anna, and my spike teams get a little bit hog wild here. So one of the Leopard 2A1s is retreating with 1 point left, but the other two get direct fire on my spike teams, 2 shots, 2 unit kills, and I was really sad. My other spike team not being resupplied by that singular vehicle before, it really did have consequences, and they kind of sucked. I was not a fan. Not a fan at all. But we have reinforcements in Mustis and KTs moving up behind the lines in Anna. This is how you want to do it, and then depending on where you are, you will either want to dovetail to the right and go through the open ground here. It's a bit faster, reinforce into the woods, and get more of a front line, or you'll want to go around this side and get around to the left, make sure that you can't be flanked, things like that. So it really just depends on what you want to do. And I gotta say, Kartanyekri, these guys, these heroes led by, let's see the fellow's name, Rajahalma? Well, they did very well indeed, and it's all going to come to an end now because of artillery. They've been standing in one place for way too long and has let my opponents get some howitzers online. So you can also see that my opponent is screening out the left-hand side. So this is Wu Jing sort of saying, okay, well, we had helicopters around here earlier, KWSs were able to take them out, but that was then, this is now, and let's not get more flanking around, so my Iroquois are going to potentially do something about that, we'll have to see, while more KTs are sparring with vehicles in these trees, and my Iroquois are trying to retake the ground. This is not how you want to do it. Iroquois Yekri are not frontline units. Well, I mean, they are, but it's a little bit weird. So the Yadamatic is not sufficient to fight against anything more than militia. And what I'm doing here by moving them up is I'm exposing them to the risk of Stuttruppen or other sorts of really meaty, really powerful infantry that would eliminate my 35-point investment with minimal risk and minimal losses on my opponent's side. So it was not really the best idea. And my Yekri that should be up there leading the charge are back here. So it was really just a little bit of panic on my side. I wasn't quite sure what to do. And because of that, I made bad decisions, which is one way to get in trouble. The only reason it didn't hurt me this time is because I got lucky, and it's important to recognize that and then adjust and make sure that you're not relying on luck in the future. So, Tunguska M doing well, my Ito 90 still doing well over here, and the double stack of T-72BUs, I'd wish they'd been all the way healed before this charge, because as it is, the Challenger 2s could reasonably kill one or both in a rather short time, quicker than you expect. So moving them back into the smoke, letting that Ural do his job is really important to keep these big investments online. It's 175 points apiece. You can't go throwing that away. So we do have a command vehicle up on the way now for Anna, and the idea was basically, okay, well, Feder has been mostly fine. There's been, I mean, there's a little bit of battle damage over here on the map, but not too much. We have a really forward cap in Anna, so I set up this diagonal on purpose. I want to keep them from moving around the side, but then I also want to pressure in and make sure that they can't get too cozy in the woods right here. It's easier for them to retake those woods. It's kind of harder to shoot the gap, and what you've noticed, well, what you should notice is I have a bunch of Musties and Reskas and Kurimas and KTs, and that means that pushing across here will immediately be met by 2 to 4 recoilless rifles and a Bushmaster 2 autocannon. It's just deadly stuff. In the meantime, a couple of Neva SCs. I'm not entirely sure if I love these guys. They're 90 points, 2800 meter range against helicopters, 550 against air, 65% accuracy. There's nothing really to complain about for their stats, but you're paying for the wheels. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm doing the off-road and the speed's only 65, but they never seem to get around quite as quickly as I'd like, because that on-road speed doesn't matter all that much, and the off-road, it's better than most mechanized, I suppose, but 65 is still pretty slow. So, my ally now moving up Spetsnaz, trying to get into the center town and clear out all those Commandos 90. You'll have to see, this is a big investment, and it's a risky one as well, so some smoke blocking line of sight, the heavy hitters, Leopard 2A1s out of position might allow this to come in, but you can see there a big explosion, Spetsnaz down to 2, and there's more howitzer fire on the way. At least it looked like it. I guess that might have been the last. F4F KWSs flying overhead, and I want these guys dead, I want them gone, I want them to stop being a nuisance and allow me to get my own planes online, which I've thus far been unable to do. Spike teams once again out of ammunition and unable to kill the 2A1s for a third time now. It was really kind of crazy, and my musty trucks are, well, actually that was a pretty surprising shot. We got side armor there on the 1-2A1. Pretty decent wallop, but unable to follow through on it does of course mean that it is still better for my opponent than it was for me. Iroquois have killed that recon helicopter, and you can see right there I make a mistake. My Iglis fired in before I turned them off, and they fired in at KWSs. They're not going to be able to kill these guys in one volley. They move too fast away from my men, and then I go chasing with a MiG-29-13S. Don't do this. The 2 KWSs will win. It'll be bad. And we didn't even get a kill in revenge because, I mean, well, sometimes luck just doesn't go your way. I was hoping for a trade just to wear down the KWSs, and I ended up just throwing away a relatively expensive plane. And you can see this is why I said it started a little bit different than how it's going. We have a grasp here, but it is tenuous. And I mean, my Copa, my Neva SC, if they have any sort of flanking, this is over 100, over 200 points worth of Uigui backline goodness that I want to keep alive and they want to kill. So you can see I'm calling in more reinforcements, trying to flesh out that side of Anna. While my tripwire units have been killed, my musties have been killed, Ruskas and Kurima doing okay, but them combined with Iroquois Yekri, it's not a perfect solution. So Artie's coming in, I've brought in my own Rak 91. It's kind of like a mini Uragan. It's not exactly amazing, but 11 HE and a decent volley can usually get a lot of damage in and stun a heck of a lot of your opponents. T-72 BUs, I like this sort of strategy from my ally. Getting the Sphere missiles online just for a second and then popping back into the smoke allowed a couple of vehicle kills, potentially with the infantry still inside, so a nice play there. And really just good, cautious play from T-72 BUs, although if it were me, I'd still split one of these guys back and let him heal up. So, my ally is marking, he's got a T-80 UK. That's a perfect choice for this map in Dimitri because it can withstand cluster, it can withstand a lot of pressure, but Stoot Trooping are getting around on my side, Commandos on my side as well, and I've really been worn down by the pressure from both Ciro 37 with his Commandos, as well as Wu Jing with the persistent KWSs, with the persistent Natra, and other sort of militia, I guess, not quite spam, but certainly persistent pressure, and it's sort of beginning to show. So I was asking my ally, hey, I need a little bit of help here or this is going to turn into a bad situation long term, and that's something I want to avoid, particularly as Anna has been counter-capped, and we did see a command vehicle coming in from Wu Jing on this side in Dimitri, and that does get them the cap. Of course, our own T-80 UK is relatively close by, so they can't maintain that for very long, and you might be wondering, this seems stupid. Well, it's an obvious position and we know where it is, but that doesn't get us any sort of benefit if they smoke off the entire line of approach. So we have to hit it with something indirect. We can't use ATGMs, we can't use direct fire, we can't even use ATGM planes if this entire side is shrouded. I've actually done this before, it's reasonably effective. Stormer coming in, single point of damage, probably poor target choice from the Stormer. T-72 BUs could move up and kill him, and it looks like that's going to be the decision. So a nice initial gut response of, oh, get me away from that ATGM, followed by a threat assessment, and then a move up to take out that threat. Double Kahu coming in from Stiero, and this is why the smoke play is so important. If you're watching this and you're wondering why do my super heavies always die, think about your smoke play and really just look at how it's traveled. I mean, smoke was all around here, then moving over with the T-72 BUs, allowing them to, I mean, yeah, the position here is known, but at least they can't be targeted, and that allows them pretty free range in the middle of a contested area. So, Yekri 90 are pushing up. The Rock 91 did either kill this command vehicle or certainly panic it, and I'm trying to take advantage of that, but Yekri 90, I don't know. They can handle damage commandos, they can handle damage other infantry, but they can't handle fresh commandos, and it was just a little bit of either a bait and switch or just partial damage to that command vehicle as Anna is recapped. So, Yekri 90 continuing to use those M72A4 laws to clear out what remains of this section, but then we have to go looking for where the command vehicle is, and around the time I encountered the Verploeg 95, I thought to myself, you know, it's quite possible it's not even over here anymore, because I've hit it with artillery a couple of times, I've had persistent pressure, maybe that's not where they're going. So you can see CC moving up on this side, Kartnikri and Musties moving around, Raskazin Korima also moving around, and I had the sneaking suspicion it might be over there. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Iroquois trying to keep being sneaky and potentially get me some line of sight on Boris and center, taking the long way around, and we'll have to see if that gives any success. And now it looks like we did get a kill there from a Smirch on the enemy command vehicle. I mean, yeah, you can't really do anything about that. It just is what it is. At this point, Wu Jing 80 surrenders, but there are still about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less, left in the game, as the second lieutenant, Sierra 37, is keeping on with the fight. Assault Pioneers encountering Mayekri, and this is something Mayekri cannot handle, so a little bit of napalm, and they go away, unfortunately. Neva SC's trying to fire in, and we get a couple hits on the Kahus, not able to kill either one. It looks like we actually split the fire between them. I was wondering how that didn't get a kill at the time, but Neva's, I mean, 2 more shots, 2 more misses, 2 more shots. Can we get anything with this guy? Another 1 hit, 9 damage. We've done that to 3 planes in a row, unable to get any kills off the Neva SCs, and I was really disappointed because, yeah, I mean, they'll be gone for a little while for repairs, but that's not what I needed at the time. So, MX-13 FL-12 absolutely pounding my Iroquois Yekri. Nice side defense unit. I mean, high rate of fire, can definitely punish infantry before they can retreat into the woods, and I was sitting there going, okay, well, shit. Fine. That kind of sucks. But it was worth a try. Always try to get around your opponent. Worst case, you'll lose a couple points. Best case, you'll make up for it with a huge benefit in kill and death ratio. Easy for me to say, I apologize. Words are not flowing quite as well, as fluently as I usually hope that they do. So we're getting into this corner now. KRKK's leading the way, a bit of an accident there, and CC trying to get some sort of infantry-based recon into the corner. We'll see if there's anything there to kill, but it has to be somewhere, right? So if it's not over there, the only remaining plays I could think of was back in the right corner on that side. Kartniekri encountering a bunch of Stuttruppen from Sierra 37. You can see he definitely switched from the right side hold to a left side hold in the zone, but Raskas and Korima, Kartniekri getting some nice fire. I do unfortunately lose the KRKKs, but it's really because I'm not really having that cautious play at the moment, and the Avia 28 also going down to a stupid bombing run going after the other command vehicle position was not really a good idea. So I was just trying to see, yeah, was he over here? Could I take him out? And as it ends up, I lost an Avia bombing nothing. Don't do that. It doesn't really help. It's not great. But we finally do get one of the KWSs, now controlled by Siro instead of Wu Jing. And I can only imagine he wouldn't have been happy to see that. But the Rock 91 pounding in is going to stun these Panzergren, stun the Stuttruppen, and allow my Raskas and Korima to get the kills in the open ground. As well as something was moving, and that told me, okay, we're getting close probably, but I still couldn't see anything. And I was sitting there going, really, is it somewhere over here? Is it just hopping in and out of the zone? What's the deal? I've bombed everywhere, I've artilleried everywhere, I'm trying to get as much as I can here, and it's just not quite enough. Assault Pioneers pushing across the open ground, I don't particularly love that. They're really pretty short range, and this KRKK was already visible. There's no reason that he should have been, well, unable to see it. And yeah, we're stunned for a little bit, but once that frag launcher gets back online, just watch these Assault Pioneers. 4 men. Oh, come on, complete a whole... Jeez. This is the last grenade in his volley because of the stun, so we'll have to watch that reload. Come on, buddy, you can do it. You can do it. Alright, here we are. 4 men, 2 men, 1 man, and the volley is only about half over. We should be able to get a kill there if we can land it. There we are. And now he's targeting the other Assault Pioneers. So, Kartniekri around the back end of the Panzergren, that has to be an uncomfortable situation, and they will get taken out. While the sparring in the center has really gone our way, one of the C-72 BUs has unfortunately been lost. Bunch of Milan 2 teams and some Vickers in the background, but T-64 BVs are the cheaper answer, 120 points. They still have those Agonas, 26-25 meter range, and decent punch. Honestly, I'm not the best with Soviet tanks. It's kind of a hard thing for me to learn how to do, but this seemed to be some good play. Getting fire in on Leopard 21s, making them approach into you, requiring your opponent to have smoke right micro or lose, but unfortunately there are just some huge ATGMs on that side of Dmitry, and the BVs take it on the chin. I still have been unable to find the command vehicle, by the way. It's just hopping around, and if we just want to take a look at that, because there's only about a minute left, it ended up being right here, Oslav C. Interesting position. I'd never really seen that before. Most people tend to go for the hide there, or for some reason over on the left side. I don't know why, but this seemed like a good, cautious position, and I certainly can't fault my opponent for that, or for occasionally moving it to either trick me or keep it out of the way of fire. But Musties are moving in, and KRKK is moving in, and this is why Assault Pioneers as well are just not my favorite thing. They can't handle support vehicles. Gurkhas can, however, and I immediately lose a KRKK. Actually, both of them. Kahu's shooting in for some reason, and the Nevas might be able to get the kill. 1 point of strength left. There it is. Finally getting something out of those expensive anti-air pieces. Oslov S is spotted, holding in Dmitry, and this is sort of the beginning of the end, as I think Ciro realizes this is just, it's not going his way. But you can hardly blame him for that. It's really, really difficult to do a 2v1 situation, and he did a pretty nice job even after his ally left. So my shout out to Ciro37, the second lieutenant, who had a very persistent game. And then looking at the star units, Challenger 2 kill off of a 60-point ATGM vehicle. No complaints there. That's amazing, amazing, amazing return on investment. Spike team was a little bit disappointing. My use of them was disappointing. The spikes are, of course, fine infantry and fine ATGM options. Kartnyekri got a lot of kills done, mostly on cheap stuff. This is the unit that got a little bit too far forward. And then the Ito 90 took out a Block 15. No complaints there at all. Other big kills would probably be, actually the Rock did okay with a couple of Astute Troop and Commandos 90 by the look of it. And then I'm looking for those anti-air pieces, the Neva SC, Keribus, and a Kahu. I mean, sure, it's not a banner kill list, but it was sufficient for today. So that's what we've got for you guys. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.